What the hell did they do to my boy Barney? They changed it from this to this. What the hell am I looking at? Hello, adventurers. Welcome to today's adventure where we will be looking at some of the worst redesigns. Okay, maybe not worst, okay? But some of the redesigns aren't that good. At the start of the video, we talked about my frustration towards the redesign of Barney. Now let's kind of take it from that aesthetic to a more realistic aesthetic. So Bob the Builder is another character that a lot of people have been kind of flaming for his redesign. So this is the original design for Bob the Builder. And I gotta say, I also grew up watching a lot of Bob the Builder. I think this was one of my brother's favorite TV shows growing up, so I did watch a lot of it. And I gotta say, the design for Bob the Builder, super friendly, super nice. I think the fact is, they wanted to make Bob the Builder more human-like, more realistic looking, and this was his redesign.
What the hell is even that?
If you put them next to each other, let's be honest, let's put them next to each other. What one do you like better? In my opinion, I will definitely go with the younger Bob the Builder. I think that's more welcoming. I think that's more of a cuter design, where with this one, they're just like, let's basically make him more realistic. I don't really care for the redesign. I think it's ugly. Also, look at the colors. The old Bob the Builder is more vibrant, more bright, more, the saturation is up, which is what we just talked about with Barney. Where with this one, it looked like they literally sucked all the color out of the redesign. So another one that I want to quickly talk about, I think this is another staple in a lot of people's lives. I feel like this show here has been a classic for a lot of families. It was a classic for my parents growing up. It was a huge classic for me growing up, and the show is ScoobyDoo. This show is such a classic. I watched a lot of the OG, and I watched a lot of What New Scooby-Doo, and I absolutely, sorry it's blurry, is one of the only pictures I could really find that was like all the cast. I gotta say, I just love this design. I feel like it's a solid. Now, I think a lot of their movies they're still producing are still kind of in this format, this design. I don't think they went with the other design we're going to quickly talk about. Isn't a bad design. I know a lot of people kind of talk about it being a bad design. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. This was released on Cartoon Network, I think in the 2010s. It might be 2015s. But I got to say, originally, I hated this design. I hated the what they did with their eyes. I've never been a big fan of the slit eyes. I think it's lazy to basically make their eyes just like the smallest part of their face. I think this show has the most slept on story. There actually is two shows that the design are very bad. Obviously, one of them you guys know is the Velma TV show that came out, and they basically were like, oh, we're gonna make a Scooby-Doo show, but it's not gonna be named after Scooby. Scooby's gonna be ripped out of it, and we're basically just going to change everything about it. I'm not gonna sit here and be that guy that's like, oh, the reason these designs are bad is because they race swapped it. What I did not like about it is just like they took the soul out of what made these characters. What made the original characters so iconic and so lovable was stripped away just so they can make this show. I just don't care for the characters. I just don't care for the design. I think this was named after Shaggy or something. I actually don't know. I've never actually watched this show. I hate this design with a dying passion. I think this is the worst design ever made for the series. Looking at this does not make me want to watch the show. That's what I realize a lot about some redesigns is they take them and they try to make it super minimalistic, or they take them and they make them 3D. So like for the Barney, they took that and made it 3D. I have a couple in this theme. I took two different approaches. I took the TMNT, the Ninja Turtles. Now, there are a couple of designs that we could go with to be like, oh yeah, this one's super good. I feel like 2003's TMNT Turtles, I think was a perfect show. I think the designs for the Turtles were pretty good. I feel like each character had their own fit. Not only that, but if you're looking at the colors right here, each turtle has a different hue. Like Mikey's a little bit more of a bluish green. Raphael's more of a darker green. Donnie is kind of like an olive green. And then Leo is, that little bit of just regular green. So I like the fact that they have their different colorations. I like the proportions of it. But these designs just look good. You can tell they're turtles. And just overall, this is a perfect design turtle. Now, like I said, there are some other designs that I would probably also throw in as pretty good designs, but I wanted a base point of what we could look at. So this is what I would say is good. But then you go to this. I kind of like that Raphael is a little bit bigger because he's like more the brute. So it makes sense to make him bigger. What are these glowing spots on them? Are they like tattoos? Are they just like paint? Like I'm confused on what those things are. And then I don't like that Raphael has a bunch of spikes. I feel like it just makes him not fit in with the other turtles, definitely since they are smaller. So overall, I don't like this design. I think it just doesn't look like something like this. See, and that's the thing, too, is I feel like when you overcomplicate the design sometimes, it can look bad. Sometimes it does take something simple like this. So this one, I went with a different design for Splinter. I think this is from one of the movies, and I feel like this is a very solid Splinter. I love that he just looks old. He looks like he has a ton of wisdom to give to his boys. The design looks super solid. Definitely for, like, martial arts, ninja. Like, it looks like he's gonna teach them something. It just looks beautiful. I just love this design. But here's the most recent design for Splinter. And I hate it. But the Splinter, I don't know what they did with Splinter. This just looks bad. And it makes me sad because Jackie Chan voiced this version of Splinter, and I love Jackie Chan. I just hate that they went with this design. When I look at this, it just makes me feel like he's not going to be able to even teach them how to throw a punch. Definitely when you have something like this where he looks young, he looks like he's got knowledge. He looks like he could still train the turtles, whether they are younger or they are older. This one, he just doesn't really look like he's going to be able to get up out of the chair. Not a big fan of. I hate this Splinter to death. I am a big Spider-Man fan. And if you guys know Spider-Man, you guys know they have done some amazing designs. Now, they didn't really change too much from the Green Goblin outfit from the original to No Way Home. It's perfect. It's a perfect fit for Green Goblin. And then they were like, let's bring back the Green Goblin and frick it up so bad that you can't even tell this is Green Goblin. Yeah, this is Green Goblin. This is Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man. So if I never saw this movie and you were to show me this image, I'd be like, I don't know who that is. Like, I'd be so confused on who this is supposed to be. And it's just like, I don't know what they were thinking when it come up with this design, because this just does not look good. This looks horrible. Definitely when you go from this to this, you just go, what the hell were you thinking? Those are some bad redesigns. Let me know your guys' favorite bad redesign from this video in the comments as well. If you guys also have some bad redesigns you guys want me to check out in another video, make sure you guys subscribe, because I'll do it again. I will look at some bad redesigns. We can roast them together. So subscribe. And also, you guys should check this video out next, because YouTube totally thinks you guys will like it. So check it out.